A matchup of two Eastern Conference teams, the Sixers and the Celtics. The 76ers will be without Joel Embiid for this one and more. Here's Brett Brown on moving forward without Embiid.
I'm putting a blowtorch, a bullet, many bullets into what we used to do.
All right, so those are his somewhat interesting thoughts. Meanwhile, Jalen Rose is here this morning as well. 6 minutes to play in the first half. How about Al Horford?
I'll tell you what the blowtorch is. You get Korkmaz more minutes. You get Mike Scott more minutes. You get Al Horford more touches on the offense, and all of a sudden they look a lot better and cohesive.
76ers had been down early, but they're coming back. They're working it back on the alley-oop.
Yeah, 76ers, they're allowed to play faster now that Joel Embiid is not in the game, and that's a huge upside for them.
Horford helped direct a 24-9 Sixers run over an 8-minute and 22-second stretch as they worked their way back into it. And then here's Richardson.
Richardson was terrific, and I was surprised he was so very dominant against so many great defenders on the Celtics that they use on the perimeter.
Working their way back into this one.
Perfect example of what I'm talking about. He ended up with 29 points.
That's exactly right. 2.5 to play now. The Sixers lead is 7. It's Simmons inside. That's a pretty interesting shot.
Well, you have room to operate without Joel Embiid in the paint. That's what I talk about, those guys probably not being able to coexist at their maximum.
Final 2 minutes. Horford in the post, looking to put it away. He scored 17, grabbed 8 rebounds, and the Sixers get the win, 109-98. Let's talk about how important a win that is for Philly without their big man.
I thought it was huge. I think it's a great sign that this team is learning how to play different styles of basketball. They play faster. Horford knocked down shots. I also think it said something great about Josh Richardson. I mean, he had 29 points in this game. Everybody talks about Ben Simmons. I think he was a great passer, created transition. You know, Tobias Harris made some shots here and there, but Jason, he's a guy that seems closer to me like Jimmy Butler than anybody else on their team.
There's Richardson, who had himself a big night, but I want to circle it back, Jalen, to the point you made a moment ago. The way Simmons is able to operate when Embiid isn't there. No one's going to make an argument they're better off without Joel Embiid, but Simmons himself may actually be better without.
Absolutely, because sometimes you have him initiate the offense. With Joel out of the game, you could have him be a secondary ball handler and also basically play a power guard position, which puts him at the 4, which puts him closer to the basket and allows him to operate and shoot his right-hand jump hook.
You know, and for a guy like Embiid, who's had a history of all the injuries, and, you know, we talk about the words load management, this isn't to his legs or his back. In some ways, in the long run, this may not be a terrible thing to have happen to them.
It isn't. It's still going to be fascinating to watch how this team handles, because then when he comes back, then you have to put Ben back at that point guard position, and that takes away some of the freedom that he has when he can be that point forward, J. Rose. And then how's Al Horford fit with that? I don't know if the pieces work all the way. That's going to be something we're going to be paying a lot of attention
to. And let's
not
ignore who they beat. They beat the Celtics. So Kemba and Smart combined for 50 points. But the problem still exists when you go against Philly. They have so many tall and big bodies that continue to wear on the Celtics. I'm not surprised when they beat the Celtics plus 12 in the paint. But also when they're making threes and getting them in fast break points, that's something that you got to look for in the Celtics later on.
Big picture in the Eastern Conference, where do these teams stack up?
I got to go with Philly based on what I just said. Because if these two teams are playing against one another, their size, their bulk, and their physicality gives the Celtics problems.
Agree?
Even without Joel Embiid, Philly and Milwaukee are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. I mean, Miami's there too, but Miami doesn't have the size like a Philly or like a Milwaukee.
All right. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube.
For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app.
And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.